financial management, budgeting. It enables an individual to make informed, informed and effective decision with all of their financial resources. It has become a critical life skill for everybody. In fact, in corporates, finance for non-finance managers was very popular, and all senior managers had to undergo this seminar or training so that they make proper decision based on to take financial decision making. So without further delay, I once again thank everybody to join us, who have joined us, and all the best to everybody. Thank you. Good day.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for introducing the topic.
Hello. So, good evening, everyone. So, we are happy to have all of you among us today as we discuss the very important topic of the importance of financial literacy. And now, finally, it has been considered a critical life skill. And I would request Bhatati ma'am to please deliver the keynote address, after which I shall introduce our panelists for today.
Okay, a very good, should I say, afternoon, evening to everyone. And it is so nice to see, Mr. John Bagul, Dr. Samir Parikh, here as panelist. Thank you so much for joining us. And I think we were supposed to have another professor from the Vivekananda College. Has he joined?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay. So namaskar to everyone. We are a 102-year-old educational institute. And I feel very proud, every time I say this. Because, we started by, empowering people. And so that has been one of our motto. And as all of you know, that, the pandemic has forced and has accelerated different types of changes in the processes, in the strategies that, we have adopted in the last 2 years. And everybody is reimagining, where they want to go, how they want to go, how will they reach their target, and what kind of road they should be taking. Workplaces had its own challenges, searching for new opportunities, how they would be surviving and moving forward. And Calcutta Business School, a unit of the Shikshayatan Foundation, which was started in 2008, and we had our Marwari Balika Vidyalaya in 1920, Shikshayatan School in 1954, and Shikshayatan College in 1955, has taken up all these challenges, and they have found out new ways to reach out to people. And they've started with these webinars, to reach out to college students last year. And this year, we have also added school students, where we could reach out to, the school students and start mentoring them. And CBS has been also recognized as one of the best schools in West Bengal, in Calcutta, who's been doing this kind of mentoring. They've also started with a finishing school. So coming to the main, this topic for today, we already had some sessions, and I'm sure some of you must be watching us, and we are going to have these sessions for the school students continuously twice a week. From childhood, we have heard money saved is money earned, very simply putting it, because we realize that financial literacy definitely empowers us and equips us with, different kind of skills and confidence, to take forward our life. So knowing, about, the basic financials is very important, and it should start from a very young age. It's not that, when I start working, I learn about financial literacy. No. In fact, many of you know, and, you're part of the national education policy has also stressed on those things that, we need to equip our children with different skills. And these skills should start at a very young age. And one of the skills is definitely having financial literacy. It makes you self-sufficient, have financial stability, to help out people, to, have a control over your own self. And let me share with everyone, in fact, Sri Shikshayatan School and Marwari Balika Vidyalaya, they organize such programs, where children learn to become entrepreneurs. They know how to handle their finances. So I think before I get into more details, over to you, Madhushree, for taking it forward. And thank you, Neha, for being the moderator today. Thanks a lot. And thanks once again to all the panelists, and welcome from Calcutta Business School, a unit of Shikshayatan Foundation.
Thank you, ma'am. So we start this session today with our regards to Mr. S.K. Birla, President of Shikshayatan Foundation, Board of Governors, Honorable Trustees, and Core Committee members of CBS. Our esteemed panelists for today are Mr. John Bagul, Principal, South City International School, Dr. Sarbapriya Rai, Associate Professor, Vivekananda College, Thakurpukur, and Mr. Samir Parikh, a CA and financial consultant. Calcutta Business School is a residential institute. Keeping in mind the need for management education in Eastern India and being an autonomous institution, it offers AICTE approved PGM courses designed as per the latest industry needs by an expert team of faculty and advisors comprising of both renowned academicians and industry leaders, and has recently introduced a BBA in Business Analytics course in collaboration with Macau. And representing Calcutta Business School today as moderator is Madam Neha Joshi, Assistant Professor, Calcutta Business School. May I now introduce everyone to our panelists for today. Our first panelist is none other than Mr. John Andrew Bagul, Founder Principal, South City International School. With an impeccable service record spanning 30 years in the field of education and equipped with strong leadership skills, excellence, and wisdom, Mr. Bagul is someone who believes in ideals and constantly strives to achieve them. With a postgraduate degree in zoology, developmental biology from Pune University, along with certification in educational leadership from IIM Calcutta, he enjoys the recognition of being awarded by multiple organizations for exemplary leadership in the field of education, Rashtriya Nirvan Samman, Ambassador of Peace Award, to name a few. Mr. Bagul is the British Council School Ambassador and has also been the convener for the ISC examination. He has contributed as a team and advisory member under the aegis of CISCE and MHRD for development of learning objectives in various subjects. Mr. John has, to his credit, the experience of being associated with many international schools and universities within the country, and has even gone on to exploring the education system and policies of schools abroad. His international exposure ranges from working at British Curriculum International School in Abu Dhabi to South Wales Department of Education and Communities, Australia. He is the citizen liaison volunteer for US Consulate General, Kolkata, India. He has widely traveled across various continents, exploring quality educational institutions, Stanford University being one of them. Mr. Bagul corroborates the MBWA, management by walking around approach, and fosters a collaborative school culture by inspiring students, teachers, and staff to be problem solvers and to stay motivated in this VUCA world. Our second panelist, Professor Dr. Sarbapriya Rai, is an Associate Professor of Commerce, Vivekananda College, Thakurpukur, Kolkata, and a visiting professor in the Department of Commerce, University of Calcutta, India. He has obtained MCom, MBA, MPhil, and PhD, and published 7 books, more than 100 articles in reputed national and international journals, including UGC Care listed journal. Under his supervision, one PhD scholar has been awarded. And lastly, our third panelist here to solve our financial queries today is Mr. Samir Parikh, Chartered Accountant and Independent Finance Consultant. Mr. Samir has over 35 years of experience across multiple business verticals. He has worked in accounts, finance, sales, and training in various organizations. He has independently distributed mutual funds by creating a distribution company, and has also been the CEO of a company listed in the Calcutta Stock Exchange. This diverse exposure across products has allowed him to gain holistic insights into organizational working, understanding and adapting and tailor solutions to suit the needs of the customer. He is presently an independent consultant working with a large number of companies in enhancing performance. As a consultant, Mr. Samir has been involved in providing performance-related solutions to customers aimed at improving effectiveness on the job. To this end, he has done trainings on high-level strategy, finance, goal setting, key account management, selling skills, customer orientation, negotiation, relationship management, performance coaching, team management, team building, and leadership. His involvement has been in training middle to top management level. Mr. Samir has been a visiting faculty for IIM Calcutta and various other management schools. He has helped in co-authoring the textbook for mutual fund exams. He has completed his PhD from University of Wisconsin on increasing measurable effectiveness of training and is certified implementer for servant leadership. His specialty has been a study involving the use of emotional intelligence in sales leadership. His work has been appreciated by various leaders in the field. As a financial professional, Mr. Samir has helped a large number of organizations to streamline their operations, bring costs down, and become more financially efficient. Welcome to all of you, sir. Okay, and I now introduce our moderator for the day, Ms. Neha Joshi, our beloved Ms. Neha Joshi. And she is currently pursuing her PhD from IIT Kharagpur. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Madhushri, for your kind introduction. Respected core committee member, Mr. Saurabh Ghosh, advisor, Shikshayatan Foundation, Madam Pratiti Bhattacharya, CEO and Secretary General, Shikshayatan Foundation, Principal Acting Professor Bhattacharya, esteemed panelist of the day, my faculty colleagues and staff member of CBS, dignitaries and delegates, students, and all those who have joined us live from Facebook. A very warm good afternoon and welcome to today's webinar. As a unit of Shikshayatan Foundation with experience of more than 100 years in academic excellence, Calcutta Business School has been emphasizing on organizing various events on several aspects of management education. Today's webinar is organized by Center of Excellence on Economic Policy and Financial Market, and I am privileged to be the moderator of such relevant discussion on financial literacy. Financial literacy is referred as the skill and knowledge of finance that can be used to make informed decisions while managing the resources and income for judicious consumption and saving. The tone for the webinar has already been set by Mr. Ghosh, and simply stating financial literacy, it allows a person to take robust and viable financial decision, keeping in mind all his income to meet his present and future requirement. The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development has defined financial literacy as a combination of awareness, knowledge, skill, attitude, and behavior that is necessary to make any sound financial decision. As per a recent report submitted by Securities and Exchange Board of India, only 27% of country's population is financially literate. This highlights the need for today's discussion. This highlights the need to increase the level of financial literacy across the country, specifically in Tier 2, Tier 3 cities and beyond. Speaking of any context presently and not taking the disruption of COVID-19 into consideration, which has, like it has been said by Madam Pratati Bhattacharya, that it has disrupted the process. And COVID-19 has been a testimony to the importance of building a thought through financial corpus, where people have faced financial crunches due to sudden job loss, salary cut, and businesses across the globe, they have faced n number of challenges. Having said that, my first question is for our first panelist, Mr. John Bagul. Sir, given this present disruptive environment, how significant has financial literacy become today? More than ever, it has become more important. How it has become more significant, sir?
Well, good evening to all present
Sir?
here, distinguished guest and fellow panelists. It's a pleasure to be here. Given the present situation, the importance of financial literacy has tripled. The importance has really gone up because of what was just mentioned right now. Schools have always focused on financial literacy right from the primary level, where you have a little fair type of thing and you are exchanging money, tokens, or you have games of monopoly where you understand buying and selling and bartering. But in this past 2 years, with families going through a lot of economic crisis, jobs being lost, new jobs being created, a lot of entrepreneurial skills coming up, mothers taking on entrepreneurial roles, children have understood being at home in online classes and seeing the environment around them. They have really understood the importance of how to manage money. I think if we could say children have grown overnight. If I speak from a school perspective, they have really understood that these demands which were met with readily earlier are now being rationed out. And because of financial crunches, financial literacy is absolutely important for every individual starting from school, because they need to know where money comes from, where money goes, and how to ration out money, and especially with your piggy bank. But this present scenario where we see light at the distant end of a tunnel, we need children to be much more aware. And that's why during their classes too, they do have topics of financial literacy, banking, especially since the finance minister has released the budget yesterday. Today in class, they had a lot of discussions on the budget, who is affected, how. So these topics of budget, finance ministry, new policies, Bitcoin should be also brought up at home at the dining table as common topics so that children get involved in it.
Thank you so much, sir. Indeed, I think staying at home has given more perspective to students, where they have generated rational thinking. They have seen the real thing, how money is earned and how it has been put into use. That has been very correctly pointed out by you. Thank you, sir. So moving ahead, we have with us CA Samir Parikh. Sir, I would like to have your opinion on the fact that is the knowledge of financial market and instrument enough, to take decisions related to one's financial goal and to have idea about where to invest and how to invest? Is that enough in today's world?
Thank you for asking that wonderful question, Professor Joshi, because you mentioned a few points over there. Firstly, you said something called a financial goal. Honestly, and I've been working with a lot of corporates, and I work at the corporate level where I'm talking with top and middle management professionals. And when I ask them what's their financial goal, I don't see them to be able to answer properly. I want to earn a lot of wealth. I don't understand that answer. What is a lot of wealth? How do you decide what is a lot of wealth? No, I want to earn a bigger salary. What is a bigger salary? Why do you want to earn a bigger salary? The first step towards, okay, I've been hearing a lot of words about financial literacy, not in this webinar, but across these 2 years, right? We've been having the government talk about it. We've had all of that jing bang that's been happening. What is the primary purpose of financial literacy? I believe, this is my belief, that the purpose of financial literacy is to create financial independence for oneself. And if I have got to create financial independence for oneself, then I must be able to define what is independence. I was in a beautiful seminar very, very way back. I mean, it's not a seminar, it was a workshop. I'm talking when I was 18 years old, and it was 15th of August, and we hoisted the flag. And the Swamiji, who was in charge of that particular program, he said, fine, you're celebrating your political freedom, but do you know what is economic freedom? Do you even understand what is spiritual freedom? So obviously, I mean, there are higher levels of freedom. There has to be a goal that has to be set. So that's the first step towards financial independence. That's my view. Then the second thing, and I think Mr. Bagul mentioned it very, very correctly, that I must know where I spend my money. Today, okay, so I tried to inculcate these habits into my family and my son, and luckily, I have to say luckily, he adopted that because he understood perhaps that it is necessary. And for them, it's so easy. You know, I used to have a diary where I would every day sit down and remember and write. It was so difficult. And the principle is that even if you give 1 rupee to a beggar, you're supposed to write it down. Nobody's telling you not to give. The point is, you must know where your money is going, right? So the second step that I normally say is you have to know where your money is going. And today, children have it so easy. There are at least 20 apps that I know of, and I'm sure the children know of more, where the moment you're spending money, and especially if you're spending money on digital means, it records automatically. It started to record automatically. It tells you where you've spent the money, what you've spent the money for, and so on and so forth, the moment you've swiped your card. So it's so important to know where your money is going. The third is, fine, I'm also starting to earn money. Obviously, at some point of time, we will start earning money. Now, the challenge is that our growth of money grows on a geometric progression with a very small index, right? 2%, 2.5%, 3%. And my expenditure grows at a higher index. So it's a 8% or a 9%, depending on inflation. And not taking into account the increase in lifestyle. So that's a different issue. So now your expense is always going to run over your income unless, and it's a very interesting topic, point that has been made by an author. His name is Robert T. Kiyosaki. He's mentioned a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And in that book, he says, pay yourself first. And I love that concept. Pay yourself first. Take 20% of your income, put it into whatever savings you're supposed to do. Because ultimately, my investment can only come from my savings. So income minus expenditure is equal to savings, and savings can be mobilized and go into investments. That's the whole step. And does this investment then lead towards the goal that I set? Because other than that, then we are all on long drives, and you know where a long drive ends. Back in the same garage where you started your drive from. Right? You come back home tired, you take your wife and you say, let's go for a long drive. You go all the way, I'm in Mumbai, so you go all the way to Nariman Point, you drive back from there and you come back and your car comes back to the garage. It's a beautiful drive. You've spent a lot of petrol, you've spent a lot of time, invested a lot of time in building your good relationship. And ultimately, you're back where you were because you didn't have a goal. Now comes the next question. What's my risk ability? Oh, no, sorry. How do I increase my savings? So now you go back to all those spendings that you did. And you say MSN. So I think Principal Bagul will know about what is MSN. In our times, we used to have something called Microsoft Network. I'm not talking of Microsoft Network. I'm talking of must have, should have, nice to have. You need to classify your expenditures into must have, should have, and nice to have, right? And unless I have done that, and unless I can eliminate the nice to have, how will I increase my savings? I cannot increase my savings unless I have reduced my expenditure. And I'm not saying, oh, therefore you tighten your belt and become when you come back home, you wear torn clothes so that you don't have to iron them. I'm not saying you have to become a life of austerity. All I'm saying is be conscious of where you are spending your money. Now, as you increase your savings, the next point that you need to understand is your riskability. Now, at our age, Principal Bagul and I, our ability to take financial risk traditionally, and I don't know his position, nor do I want to talk about mine, but traditionally, at his age and in mine, we are less prone to taking financial risks, which means I will not trade in cryptocurrency, right? And most probably will put money in bank deposits or some other. So the risk ability of an individual is the next thing that we need to understand. And this is very, very personalized. This is very, very personalized. So yeah, I have to understand. And that's where this concept of financial literacy comes in, where I understand the trade-off between risk and return. There's a very famous saying in finance, right? It says, high risk, high return. Low risk, what does it say? Low return, right? The point is, actually, it's not that. If it says high risk, high return, then there is no risk. Just understand the English. High risk is equal to high return, then there is no, it is, see, low risk, low return, yes. High risk is equal to high possibility of return. And that's a big difference. That's a very big difference. So yes, I understand. If I invest in cryptocurrency, my money might double, but it might get washed out. If I invest in bank deposits, my money will never get washed out, but I will lose money because my investment is higher. My inflation is higher than the rate of return that I am getting. So I'm losing money rather than earning money. This is where the financial concept of financial literacy comes in. Understanding the financial products that match my risk profile so as to be able to invest properly and get the returns that I need to work with. I know I've taken a lot of time, but I want to close this with 5 things that I need to do in my life as far as a financial, see, everybody needs finance, everybody works with finance, everybody does finance, right? Whether you like it or not. I don't know if you know or follow Big Bang Theory. So Sheldon Cooper is a theoretical physicist, understands Higgs boson. I am a chartered accountant. I also understand physics because I know that if I throw a ball up, it will fall down. The degree of financial literacy that is required for a CFO of a multinational is not what Professor Joshi, you and I require. We require it to create our own financial independence and therefore not getting into technicalities. It's very simple. It's actually very simple, right? So what are the 5 things that I need to do? Number 1, I need to take care of what is called dying early. Dying early. Now, when I ask this question, what do you mean by dying early? People come back and say, dying at the age of 60. Okay, so fine. So if there's anybody who's 61, I mean, that's me, and you can tell me, now it's over, well, you can die. No, it has nothing to do with an age. Early, it means dying before you've met your financial responsibilities, right? So that's one thing that I have to take care of. Now, the other part is living too long. So the reverse is, okay, so when is living too long? Oh, if you live till 90. Okay, now, so do I go back and say, you've lived too long? Can you go and tell that to anybody? No, living too long, again, from a financial perspective means I have outlived my income. I am now dependent upon my son and my daughter-in-law. And when I ask them, सुबह की चाय jar में थोड़ा चीनी ज़्यादा डाल देना, the answer is, बुढ़े को ना चीनी का भाव पता नहीं है. Now, if in the beginning of the month, this Buddha has given 50,000 rupees to his son and said, ye chini ka hai, then not only chini, but pakoda will also come. The point is, therefore, how have you outlived your income? That is living too long. The third possibility that we have to all provide for is the possibility called of living death. This is lifestyle related diseases, diseases of heart, diseases of diabetes, diseases of which cause us to cripple our income. My ability to earn comes down, though I'm living. So these are the 3 possibilities that happen. And financially, my goals must take care of these 3. There are 2 things that also I need to take care of. One is what I call family needs. Family needs for getting my daughter to higher education, getting my son getting married. I always use this way because it's what is it called nowadays? Yeah, inclusion, right? It's diversity. So from the perspective of diversity, normally it would be sending son abroad and getting daughter married. No, why? Getting the daughter abroad and getting the son married off to at least a girl who's come from abroad. So I think that's a better way to lead life. So getting your children married off, meeting the family needs of education. For that matter, most children who are possibly listening to this are going back to their parents and going to say, I don't want to get into an employment like you. Subah 9 baje se raat ko 11 baje tak, especially under work from home, right? No timings, nothing. This is not my life. I want to start my own business. Who's going to be the first venture capitalist for this particular boy? Obviously the parent. That's family need. Are you prepared for it? Are you as a parent prepared for it? And so that's my, the fifth is your own lifestyle needs. Don't you want a vacation? Don't you want to drive a bigger car? Don't you want to move to a better house? Don't you want to paint your house? Don't you want to change your furnishing? All of this is also something that you need to plan for. All of this requires money. But if you do it in a planned manner, you are happier. Because in life, you know what, Professor Joshi, there are two problems. One is the problem of not having anything. And then the second is the problem of plenty. I have personally in my life been in both sides of the problem. And I think the second one is a better situation to be in. So I hope I've answered your question, although it possibly took me a little bit more time, but back to you.
No, sir. Thank you so much for beautifully articulating and using our day-to-day happenings and illustrating it with all on day-to-day things that we go through, and then making us understand about financial literacy, which is actually, I think, very very correctly pointed out by you. It starts with having the clarity of what is my financial goal. You have correctly said that me and you, or maybe even let's say I will have some different financial goal, and so will you, and so will anyone else. Just like physics, I think finance also plays a very very important role in everyone's life, and as it touches everyone's life in a different way. So having just the knowledge of financial instruments and system is not enough. It's rather important to have know the products that matches my expectation, my lifestyle, and my future plans for life. Thank you so much, sir. Moving ahead, Dr. Rai is with us, and he is a professor in commerce. Sir, I would like to know it from you that there are several, having spoken so much about financial literacy, and government is also doing so much to create awareness amongst the citizen. But there are surveys that states that major part of our society is still unaware, like that the SEBI's report, which states that only 27% of the population is financially literate today, despite having so much of schemes by the government. Sir, do you think that our students, our graduate and postgraduate students, or students from school, can play any role, or can play some role in bridging this gap?
Thank you, Neha, for your question. Actually, I'm not an expert in finance, but I can share some experience what finance analysts said. And from my very negligible teaching and research experience, I can share some idea in this respect. Actually, financial illiteracy is prevalent all over the world, and India is no exception to that. You know that in India, 75% of Indian population is literate, and 27% of adult Indians is financially literate. That means they can understand what do we mean by investing, what do we mean by savings, etc. So amid this scenario, regional disparities also prevailed in India. If you look after the statistical data, you'll find that in Maharashtra, only 17% of population is financially literate. In Delhi, it is 33%. In West Bengal, it is 21%, and so on. India is a member of BRICS country: Brazil, India, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And India also ranked lowest among all those among 5 countries. So we know that there are certain financial literacy schemes, like basic financial literacy scheme, how to compound, how to compute compound interest, how to read inflation, how to calculate time value of money, etc. And there are certain sophisticated financial literacy schemes, like how stock market functions, how to identify our safer or riskier investment, etc. And also there are certain borrowing vehicles, loan, credit card, etc. and insurance schemes are there. But the students are not aware of these schemes generally. Actually, need for financial literacy arises mainly when the young people, when they enter into their job, they find it very difficult or challenging to manage their finance, and almost they end up their spending for paying up their loan, what they have taken for continuing their study in the undergraduate or postgraduate level. So stepping into vicious cycle of debt increases the probability of not having enough funds for themselves and for their families. So when they can realize the importance of financial education, it becomes too late. It becomes less valuable to them since they have already entered into debt trap. Now, the solution to that lies in the also school curriculum, school level, school classroom. In class 8, students are taught how to calculate cost price or sell price. And we, the teachers, teach how to calculate simple interest by multiplying principal into rate into time by dividing 100. And this sums up our financial literacy. We confront with money-related problem every now and then. We know the theories, but do not know the application and do not know how to make a decision in money-related matters. On the other hand, students have least awareness and knowledge regarding sophisticated investment, like how to invest in stock market, how to invest in share market, etc. And I have conducted a study a few years back on microfinance. And in that survey, I have found that most of the students answered that they would just invest their money in a savings bank account for safety of their money. And another thing that emerged out there is how little the children understand the macroeconomic and social implication of their investment, of their financial decision. Almost every student then responded that their spending and saving habits have no impact on another person's well-being and as a society as a whole. And one student peculiarly responded that my parent always says that it is bad to borrow money and that you need to pay off the dues as soon as possible. But he did not realize that someone could borrow money only to start a business, which will exaggerate, which will enhance more income rather than keeping it in the savings bank account. Now, this borrowing is bad theme was echoed by most of the students in that survey. And similarly, most students fail to find the relationship between the macroeconomic implication of those financial decisions and also their savings and investment and borrowings, etc. And when told about the macroeconomic impact of their financial choice, they were surprised to learn about the influence of their spending, borrowing on the society. They said that teaching such type of macroeconomic information would help them to establish or find out the relationship between their own financial habit and impact it has on the society. And it will help them to make appropriate financial decision in future. Now we know that by dint of right to education, equal educational opportunities for all students have become now a reality. And schools in India are either government run or funded by private institutions, etc. And medium of instruction is either Hindi or English or regional language. And there are 3 streams: science, arts, and commerce. You know that commerce stream students do better than the science stream or arts stream students, because this is quite expected, because students in commerce from the very beginning of their student life receive education in economics and finance as a part of their curriculum. So this difference also pointed out to the fact that economics and finance would be the effective instrument in augmenting financial literacy among the students. Raghuram Rajan, ex-governor of Reserve Bank of India, advocated for inclusion of financial literacy in the school curriculum at all levels. And he mentioned that by doing so, the younger generation will have better understanding of finance and they will enable themselves to make educated financial decision making. So effective education is the backbone of financial literacy. Effective financial education is the backbone of financial literacy, and financial literacy will be the foundation of financial inclusion also. And there are also several empirical research. I will mention that students from lower income families have had the higher financial literacy compared to the peer student from high income families. That means there is a negative association between the financial literacy and the income level of their family. Because what is the explanation of this? A possible explanation could be that poor families focus more on savings, budgeting, planning in order to run their families on the basis of their smaller income, and they show greater financial literacy. So likewise, the small income students are aware of the financial status of their family and the strategies that their parents adopt in managing their family. But more research needs to be conducted in this field. I do not agree with this, but there are also counter research in this particular field. The counter research suggests that the children from families with adequate and plenty of financial resource are more financially literate than those who come from poor families. So it is contradictory result. But I'm not going to the contradiction. In view of recent pandemic, what happened here? Actually, millions of people lost their job. Our GDP has actually decreased drastically, and this probably reduced the accessibility, affordability of food, quality food among the common people, poor people, or vulnerable people. So amid this scenario, financial literacy is not only a basic skill, it becomes the critical life skill to be adopted in our daily life, so that we can plan our daily earning, so that we can expend it in an efficient manner to save something to help the family. So students are the very immature people, and they are growing up in the midst of such critical scenario, and they have to take some decision regarding their own independent future later on. So when they enter into job, they have to prepare budget, they have to make wise financial choice, and they have to take long-term decision, etc. So in view of this, I can say there are several professionals like doctors, like lawyers, professors, etc., who are expert in their field but do not know the ABC of the finance market. So if the student can understand the ABC of the financial market from the very beginning of their childhood, they can make right decision at right time, and after attaining the adequate knowledge, and they can join NGOs. They can also act as a volunteer in the NGOs, and they can disseminate their acquired knowledge among the common people, and in this way they can enlighten other people who are financially illiterate in the society. So this is my answer.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Rai. You have truly, brought in the research point to the academics, where you have pointed out the different research finding and how financial literacy level is negatively correlated to the income of the family, and how there are some research which contradict the same. And also thank you for highlighting that it is very, very important to for a student to understand the macro implication of the investment and saving, be it a small small quantity that we are presently investing, but the macro implication of it must be the topic that the students must be made aware of, so that they know like you have said, that an effective education leads to financial literacy, which leads to financial inclusion, and thereby leading to the overall economic growth. Thank you so much, Dr. Rai. My next question is to Mr. John Bagul. Sir, recently the much talked about National Education Policy 2020 has, like it has been highlighted by Dr. Rai and also by Madam Prati Bhattacharya, that it has been there have been certain life skills that have been identified under NEP 2020, and financial literacy has been identified as one of the critical life skills. Sir, with your rich experience in educational sector, and also not just in the country but across the world, sir, how do you think that financial literacy campaigns and trainings must be imparted at different school level and subsequently also at higher education portal?
Well, quite an interesting question because with the National Education Policy bringing in financial literacy, I think any amount of information given to students on financial literacy is insufficient. We have to constantly keep doing it. It has to be done at regular intervals, because national education policy is formalizing it, which is very good. But as Professor Dr. Rai said, commerce students are benefiting because they're learning business studies, accounts, and economics, etc. The students, once they go for science stream, and in council schools, CISE schools, they can opt for science, leave these subjects right from class 9. So that doesn't mean they are not going to, they need not know how to manage their finances. But sadly, once they leave, they go for medicine or they all need to be aware of how to manage finance. It is a life skill. The money that comes in, money that goes. So as a school, we need to be involved with organizations who are specialized in these areas. We do have a lot of institutions at present, even during the pandemic, having wonderful online sessions for students with very good topics. So we have faculty from different universities who are interacting with students on a one-to-one basis, and students have shown great interest. And basically, these are for students of class 11 and 12. But I suggest that even you catch them young and you target them from your 7th, 8th standard, because that is where they start thinking about the future, the process. And I do know many students in younger classes, lower classes, are involved in the Bitcoin and currency and stock market. They are getting involved. They have a lot of awareness. As mentioned by both my co-panelists, that awareness about finances with the new apps and with the new technology is quite high. But the onus lies on us as a school to see that we keep getting students involved in financial literacy as an important core component in their life skill training. And whatever you do is always less. But the thing is, these life skill trainings are not marked and they're not assessed. It's not like an SUPW. We try, the kids always need something, a carrot to be dangled in front. If there are marks for it, they do it well. That's why I said, if it's done at repeated intervals and we keep doing an orientation, reorientation, guiding them and getting them to use it in their daily lives, that is definitely going to help them in a long way.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Bagul. I think online at this hybrid mode and online, with education going digital, it has definitely benefited. And like you have said, that students sitting at their home, they could attend these extra hours and extra classes by different, professionals who have their expertise in this area. And also, sir, I believe that saving is more of a behavior, a habit that must be inculcated rather than it's a course, and that is something that that should be ongoing and continuous in nature, to make that a habit from the at a very young age. Thank you so much, sir. My next question is for Mr. Samir. Sir, you have been a financial consultant for over so many years, and I'm talking about the volume of transactions that are still done in the unorganized sector of finance. Despite so much of government intervention and policies, and yet, sir, they have not made any difference. So, what do you think? Where are we lacking, at the policy making level, or at what level are we lacking, sir?
So if we are going to wait for policy to change human behavior, I don't think it's ever going to happen. Let's start from the basic premise that policy is only giving us a framework within which we should work. Let me give an example. According to some calculations, 5,000 years ago, one young boy called Nachiketas went to Yamraj and he sat down and had a discussion. And Yamraj said, between Shreyas and Preyas, Shreyas is better, right? Shreyas and Preyas in our language today would mean delayed gratification versus instant gratification. right? Today's pain, tomorrow's gain. Metro railway. What do? We complain. Are we not going to get onto the metro railway? Of course we are, right? But we complain about sacrificing today to have a better tomorrow. But the basic principle of financial independence, the basic principle of gaining financial knowledge is about sacrificing today. And I let me start off again when talking about policy. So what are we as parents doing? What are we as parents doing? When we say that we move away from the, when we grew up, and I want to keep pointing out to Mr. Bagul and myself, because he has, we both have the equal amount of hair on our head now. So from that perspective, and it's also the same color. So from that perspective, when we were growing up, when you would go and say ki chocolate khana hai, the answer would be tomorrow. The answer would never be le lo, right? And we as parents, the same people, we as parents have a jar full of chocolate at home. Jab chahiye le lo. And now we expect that they are going to learn savings. I'm sorry, I think we were responsible for the financial illiteracy that has happened today in our world. Right? So I think the financial illiteracy first needs to be addressed at a root cause, which is the behavior of the generation that we represent and not the generation. And which is why I like what Professor Roy was also talking about. When he's saying that when it is bad to borrow money, that's the culture that we've brought in. But financially, it's a simple calculation. It's called leverage, right? Let me put it very simply. Let's say that your investments are earning 12%. And you're borrowing money at 8%, should you not borrow money at 8% and get it to earn 12%? It's as simple as that. I'm not getting into calculations on return on capital employed and blah, blah, blah. I'm not getting into all that. It's a simple logic. And I keep coming back to this point that finance is not about esoteric knowledge. It's about being very, very simple. So policy will never help. Policy will give us a framework, but will policy address illiteracy? No, it can't. It can't, because we have this bodies that are working, there are NGOs that are working, but ultimately the human generation that we represent, if we don't change our behavior, how is our next generation going to change their behavior? And that brings me to saying that when we talked about, I think Mr. Bagul talked about catch them young. Catch them young, and you were, sir, talking about class 8 and 9. Warren Buffett started at 11, at the age of 11. I don't know if it's true or not, but his life says that he started at the age of 11. Sir, it is possible, right? It is possible, because it's not rocket science. He doesn't have to do complex mathematics. He just needs to be able to say, yes, here's 5 rupees that I have and I'm ready to throw it away. Now, instead of throwing it away, I'm going to put it into a cryptocurrency. I'm going to put it into a stock. I'm going to put it into a mutual fund. That's all. That's the basic decision that he needs to take. For that, yes, the policies that are being framed today are more conducive towards such investments. For example, I mean, there's been a lot of hoo-ha about yesterday's announcement saying that income from cryptocurrency is going to be taxed at 30%. Now, there's a lot of back talk that has happened on this. But the point is, this is the first budget where cryptocurrency, the existence of cryptocurrency has got officially recognized in the Indian budget. Till date, and my son plays around in cryptocurrency because he's of this age and he understands that. And I honestly, I mean, there's been somebody's asked a question. I'm not an expert. I have general knowledge on cryptocurrency, but children today have that knowledge, some of them at least. And I always used to tell him, look, it might be illegal because there was no law that was telling us something. But today I know that it's legal as long as he pays his 30% on that. So the policies have come about which enable financial literacy. But will that change the literacy level? Sorry, it will change when you and I change. And I'll give you a simplest example. Did you today, Professor Joshi, read the Telegraph? Sorry, you're on mute. But
I did. I read it at night, sir. So my mornings are usually packed, sir.
Fair enough. So you still read the Telegraph. So you're setting a bad habit for people in your house, because the Telegraph is not a financial newspaper and it gives you no news that is relevant to you.
So I'm a reader of Economic Times.
I'm just pulling your leg here. But the point is, and I say this to so many people, that read the Economic Times, read the Financial Express, read whatever. I'm not advocating any particular newspaper. And you don't need to read. I personally don't read a newspaper at all. I have RSS feeds on all the topics that I'm interested in. So I have an RSS feed on banking. I have an RSS feed on insurance. And I get the news directly onto my email without having to even open a newspaper. And I don't have to go through 22 pages of all sorts of information. Oh, there was a train crash in Baroda where 350 quintals of wheat got washed away in the Indrayani River or whatever river over there. I mean, yes, I feel sad about it. But beyond that, are you and I going to do anything about it? But if the interest rate is going up, there's something that you and I can do about it immediately, right? If the interest rates are going down, there's something you and I can do about it. If the forex rates are going up or down, and policies help us to understand these possible predicted movements, that is where the policy comes in. So over to you back again.
Okay, so thank you. It's a pleasure listening to you, and I like the way you articulate everything through a story, and that actually gave us more clarity on the topic. So I have one question from my side. That's I think you might help me with that. So over last 2 years, we have seen a substantial growth in the youngsters' interest in stock market. I am someone who would take help of a mutual fund, but I have seen a generation younger to me directly investing through stock market. So is this the behavioral change that we are seeing in the society? The risk taking ability has increased, or?
So, okay. So the answer is, you are talking about the tier 1 middle class, upper middle class, rich people. You are not talking of the person who comes to my house and does the housework.
Yeah.
Right. So yes, you're talking of a very limited segment of society which has had an economic jump up. You see, my grandfather, when he was worked for survival. My father worked for roti kapda makan. I am looking at providing comforts of life. My son is looking at saying self-actualization. He's on the top of Maslow's theory right on the day one when he starts earning. Right? He hasn't gone through those stages of survival and all that. He's starting off at Maslow. So he obviously is going to start off by saying, why can't I take risk? Because I am young, I have possibility of income. And in any case, ultimately, Papa ki hotel to hai na. So that fall back, and I'm not saying this in a derogatory sense. I'm saying that we have the ability to provide that safety net for him. Since we provide that safety net, why shouldn't he take risk? I propagate the fact that he should take risk, because if he doesn't take risk now, is he going to take risk at my age? That will be fatal. So, I mean, I was advising somebody, and this person, he just retired and he's got this corpus of money, and he came and said, so I told him where to invest. And I normally don't do that, but this was a person very close to me. So I gave him some bit of advice in saying that, okay, put money here, put money there. He said, but you are giving me all the useless advice. I should put money in the stock market. It is going to double in 3 years. I said, sir, you are 65. At 65, if it doesn't double and it collapses, who's going to take care of you? You're not going to get Mediclaim, and you're not going to get medical insurance, and health insurance is going to become costlier. How are you? I understand my risk-taking ability. Fine. Each person to his own. But the point is that at that age, there is no risk-taking ability in general. And at my son's age, at 24, 25, he has 22, 23, 24, 25. This is where they start earning. Let them invest. Instead of at least buying a bike and rushing around in the entire country, he's at least investing in the stock market and getting to even burn his fingers. He's learning. He's learning. Otherwise, what happens? The first income that comes, on one hand, we say it's bad to borrow. The second thing he does is down payment for the bike, for the two-wheeler. And then the parent is sitting and tearing off whatever hair is remaining. Ki raat ko helmet bina ke wapas chala ke aayega ki nahi. And rather than that, he's putting money in the stock market. Now let him do it. Encourage it. Okay. Make him read the Economic Times with you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Sir, Dr. Rai, I like to ask you the same question. Like, being an academician, what is your take? Like, why, despite a lot of programs like the Jan Dhan Yojana and all, still we are not, still a large chunk of our society is falling under the unorganized sector.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. We can hear you, sir.
Hello, I failed to listen.
So we can hear you.
So if Mr. John, if you can take up the question, like what is your thought on like why despite government intervention, why is it do you also believe that it is more of a behavioral aspect rather than the policy aspect, sir?
No, the policy is good, but what I believe is it may be due to the lack of the literacy level is low for the group that it is targeting, and it is also how much they trust government policies. The trust factor and literacy factor. When there's zero literacy factor for the group that it is being targeted, they are not aware of these policies. So if you're looking at this policy for the masses, we are looking at low income groups. These are the people who need to be, they only know their bank account. And of course, the government is doing a lot to bring about financial literacy, even in the low income working group, to encourage them to invest money, to have a bank account. You need those formalities, but they prefer their local gaon, suburb, little place, money lenders. They prefer that type of system. Though our country has progressed to a higher level, we say that we are literate, we say that we have high level of, and we are not just talking of the 3 R's. In that, we still have a lot to be done in the schools which are present in those areas. Many government schools lack proper teachers. These are connected. If children don't get educated in those areas, illiteracy is high. Similarly, the adults in that area are not literate enough to understand those schemes. There's been a wonderful movie where we see how the people get duped, and a famous investor who went around the country duping these innocent people because they want to double their money with these false schemes. So government scheme is good. Awareness, I feel, is less among these low income groups, and they have blind faith on money lenders in their areas, rather than even taking the trouble of going to a bank and having your salary credited in bank. They find that a big hassle. So that is my simple take on why these excellent schemes could fail at grassroots level.
Okay, thank you, sir. Very correctly pointed out. I mean, we have been speaking about behavioral aspect. I believe that trust plays a very, very important role when it comes to, keeping your money either with bank or stock market or with mutual funds or with insurance company. And also literacy, definitely the ability to comprehend and understand the products that are available and the way in which the bank and financial system work, that comes with proper basic education. So thank you for pointing out that, sir, and pointing out the problems that could be the cause why we are failing at the very grassroots level. Thank you so much, sir. Dr. Rai, are you there with us? Can you hear me? I think, sir. So I think Dr. Rai is having some network issue. I have one last question which can be answered, any one of you, or if Dr. Rai is able to hear me out. So, sir, I'm talking about, I mean, when we talk about literacy, financial literacy, we're talking about investment. right? And it is often said that the best investment that one can make is on themselves and their future. And by future, I mean education, right? So education, it helps us to grow up, to get perspective, to grow as individuals, make better decisions, and succeed in future. And it just not adds on to individuals' life, but also it contributes to overall economic and community development. So students, when they take crucial decisions about higher education, let's say going for MBA programs or to go for any kind of postgraduate abroad or in country, there involves a huge amount of money. That is the investment on education. So how do you think are students aware about the concept of ROI, return on the investment that they are making? Yes. Dr. Rai, can you hear me? Yeah. Yes, sir, would you like to go? I mean, Dr. Rai, we are not able to connect with Dr. Rai, I think. Mr.
Maybe
Parikh.
we can hear Mr. Parikh because he's wonderful to listen to.
That I agree. That I agree with you, sir.
I'm really enjoying all the inputs from Mr. Samir Parikh.
That I agree, sir.
Thank you very much for the feedback. But so if I understand the question is, how do I calculate the ROI on investment that I have made on myself? Now, honestly, I personally feel this. Okay, if I have made this investment on myself, I don't count it as investment. Right? It's only when somebody else has made that investment on me, he is counting it as investment because he's not going to get the returns, which is typically, I'm doing this for my son or I'm doing this for my daughter. So when I am investing that money, what am I expecting? Now, I'm going to answer this from the Indian cultural context. Why does a parent invest in their child? See, I'm not addressing this from the US or the UK context, because the context of investment in the child over there is very different from how we invest in our children. What is the reason? The reason is very simple. That's my social security. I'm investing not in the way in which he's going to earn money, he's going to do. I'm investing so that when I retire, I will have somebody to take care of me, at least financially. Hopefully, saath mein rahega and also pair dabayega, right? Today's world, possibly that will not happen. But at least he will send the money from wherever he is and make sure that I will. Now, you see, the point is, if that is the purpose of that investment, then it's the wrong purpose, isn't it? I always start from, okay, so I have two academicians here and I am making a statement about them, and please pardon me if I hurt your feelings, but I believe that the learning is the responsibility of the learner. So you are an institution, I am a trainer, we create the facility, the infrastructure, the mind space necessary for learning. Because we are not dealing with absolute children. We're not dealing with the infants. Infants, yes, they come with a blank slate and they need to learn how to write an A, B, C, D and so on and so forth. But once they have graduated to the age of, and today, emotional maturity starts happening at the age of 12, 13. I know that my children were more emotionally mature at 12 and 13, and they are more clear about what they want in life than we were. So from that perspective, is this the right investment that you are making? No, you're not. Don't count that as investment. It is your expenditure. It's your duty to do it. It is one of the duties that you have in your role as a householder, that you have produced a son. Please take care of him to the extent that you can. But you want to take care of your retirement? Please invest in your retirement today. Start investing in your own retirement today. And you know where, again, I know I've diverted from the topic, but then this is one of my favorite points. Who's more worried about retirement investment? So it will be obviously Mr. Bagul and I. But you know what, Professor Joshi, you should be far more worried about it. Because ultimately, he and I are going to live for 20 more years, or possibly 30 years. When we pass on, you are going to be our age. So you're going to be living another 30 years. So inflation is going to hit you far, far, far more than it's going to hit him and me. Now, he and I are possibly worried because we did not invest when we were your age. right? But at least let's get financially literate and start. And hopefully with all this, at least you, Professor Joshi, who I've been talking to as a representative of whatever we are, whoever's listening, at least start investing in your own future today. But if you are investing in your child, it's not investment, it's an expenditure. That's my view. Mr. Bagul, please.
I totally agree with you, because the mindset is different, and this part of investing in yourself and expenditure in your child is a fact which many parents are learning the hard way. We are seeing cases across the city, across cities, and it is hitting very hard. So because we get our kids involved with old age homes and all, and when children go to old age home, they are understanding the effects of the parents being there in the old age home for various reasons. So that's how with social causes also children understand about financial matters and what really happens. So I totally endorse what Mr. Parekh is saying. We have to rethink and reinvent, look at the situation. Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Dr. Rai, are you there with us? I mean, no, I think.
If he logs out and logs in, maybe because
Yeah.
he's there, but.
Okay. Okay. So, yes, I think, sir, can you hear me? Huh? Okay. Okay, I think Dr. Rai is having some technical glitch. So I think with this, we have reached to an, towards the end of our today's session. It was a very, very informative session, and I wish we could continue for more. Yes, sir.
Sorry, there has been one question on cryptocurrency. My answer to so it was sent to me on a private message saying that somebody from Facebook wants to know about cryptocurrency, and my answer has been that's a separate webinar. But
definitely, sir, we will have a session with you
but,
then
but,
on
but,
cryptocurrency.
but I think in all fairness, there is a beautiful site called Investopedia.
Okay.
Investopedia. It's a very, very nicely built site. It's an authenticated site in the sense it's not a Wikipedia where you have information which is sometimes not correct, nor is it a Google search. So it's a fairly decent website which gives a lot of information about financial terminologies like what we are talking about. It's a good site to go to, and probably Mr. Bagul, he might want to include this at least as a part of reading material for his students in his
certainly, point noted, and my teachers are here. We are going to implement right away.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, sir. With this, I think it has added more information, and it was great listening to all of you. And I wish that we could continue this session for few more hours, or we can have another session where we specifically, talk about cryptocurrency. Maybe next time we can think of. Any of the participant, like someone has already sent a question to Mr. Samir, but if anyone has got any other questions in their mind, any guest, any participant, so we would take a couple of questions more. So I would request our audience to kindly drop their questions in the chat box or in the comment section of Facebook Live if you are watching us from there, and the questions will be taken at the end of this small video of our beautiful campus. Now I would request our technical expert to kindly play a small video of our
your essence, then you are welcome to Calcutta Business School, Center of Excellence, centered on excellence.
It all started in the year 1920 when some eminent industrialists of Kolkata founded the Marwari Balika Vidyalaya. Later, in 1954, Sri Shiksharthan School was founded, and in 1955, Sri Shiksharthan College came into being with the objective of further propagating quality education to girls. All these institutions have continued to excel under the management of the Shiksha Foundation.
It has been guided by industrialists like President Mr. S.K. Birla, Director Emeritus, Birla Brothers Private Limited, Mr. Siddharth Birla, Vice President, Mr. G.K. Khaitan, Trustee and President of Shiksha College, Mr. R.S. Goenka, Trustee and MD of Imami Group, and many other reputed industrialists. The Secretary General of the Foundation is Mrs. Brotuti Bhattacharya.
Greetings. I would like to speak a few words about our institution, the Shiksha Foundation. The year was 1920, when some of my forefathers thought that female education needed to be propagated much more actively than was the custom in those days. And we donated from our family 2 buildings in the heart of Bada Bazaar for the girl child to be educated there. That institution is still working. The latest addition to our bouquet of institutions has been the Calcutta Business School, which was started a few years ago on a 15-acre plot of land and not very far away from IIM Calcutta.
Calcutta Business School offers an AICTE-approved, autonomous, 2-year full-time residential program on postgraduate diploma in management, majoring in subjects like finance, marketing, IT, operations, and human resource. But it's the unique cluster of courses that sets it apart. Interactive and intuitive games like management game and stock market simulation game. It also puts heavy emphasis on data handling and business analytics and uses databases and software like CMIE Prowess, MetaStock, R, and SAP.
Kolkata is the city of joy. It is the cultural capital of India, a city which has its soulful embodiment of culture, love, mystery, respect, and enthusiasm. A city that upholds a perfect juxtaposition between the old world and the modern one. It has given us many Nobel laureates over the years. It has iconic institutes like the Calcutta University, the National Library, Presidency University, Bishwabharati, IIM Calcutta, and many such legendary institutes. Calcutta Business School's AICTE approved PGDM program is carrying forward this rich legacy of Kolkata.
Thank you. We have got a couple of questions from Facebook, but I think our panelists have answered almost all of them. So that would be kind of a repetition. And I know how important your time is. And thank you so much for sparing your, your time with us in this afternoon. I would just like to conclude today's webinar, our discussion. So our discussion started off with Mr. Ghosh setting up the tone for the session, highlighting the points of what is financial literacy, and then Madam Bhattacharya took over and she said why more so ever in this pandemic, during this pandemic when everything has gone for toss and every process has changed, why it is more important to have such relevant discussion today. We are glad to have 3 extremely talented panelists with us, and it was great interacting with all of you. Mr. Bagul has brought in some really great insights, like how being at home has made students, made youngsters more, given them more rational thinking. When they saw what is actually going on, how do we earn money and where are our parents spending it, and with the financial crunch that we have been through in last 2 to 3 years almost now, they see how the mechanism, how everything functions at home, which I think definitely has got more clarity among them. And also during the pandemic, this hybrid mode has played a very important role, whereby we could connect from people across the world, sitting at our home and getting to know the topics that are very, very important, like financial literacy, and including or taking them as an essential skill which we can incorporate in our day-to-day life. Dr. Rai was there with us, but I think he got disconnected because of some network issue. He tried to bring in the research point.
He's very much there. He's logged in again. Dr. Rai, yeah, he's come back again.
Yes. Sir, are you there with us? Dr. Rai, can you hear me?
He seems to be there. His name is there, but
Yeah. But I think he's facing some network issues. So that's again something that we have been witnessing a lot during this pandemic. So that's also a thing. But then yes, he spoke about the researches that and the conclusion that have been drawn about the saving and investment behavior of students from different income group, and how the understanding of how my investment can have a bigger impact, a macro impact, would be encouraging for students to take up different decisions related to financial literacy. And then something that I think Mr. John Bagul and me, we both agreed that we had a pleasure of listening to Mr. Samir, and it was absolutely a delightful experience, sir. And you have given us so much of clarity, I would say, talking about the behavioral aspect. So even if we see the history of Warren Buffett, it's all there when they say to save and start early is the key to have more money. That if we see his investment portfolio and the time in which he started. Thank you, sir, for talking about having clarity while setting up financial goals. Also telling us the steps to set up the goal, to have our own definition of financial independence, where to spend money. And I think the favorite takeaway for me personally would be how to increase my saving, and then to categorize it into must have, should have, and nice to have. So that is something, sir, I'm definitely going to try to practice. And thank you for throwing light about that. The financial products, along with the knowledge of financial product, it is very, very important to understand what suits my expectation and my risk appetite. So I think with this, I would conclude today's session. And also we have spoken about the trust factor. That is very, very important for an investor, for a person who is saving with bank or financial system. So the trust factor needs to be also taken into consideration to increase the level of financial literacy in the society. With this, I conclude off from my side. I would now hand over the session to Ms. Madhushri for concluding and giving the final vote of thanks. Thank you, sir. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Neha ma'am. On behalf of the entire CPS team, I thank everyone watching us today. I thank our panelists today for sharing their knowledge and views on finance. I thank Bratati ma'am and Saurav sir for their kind presence, and Pinaki sir, thank you always for being there to encourage us. With this, we end this session. Please send us your feedback or queries in the Google Sheet that is provided in the Facebook comment section. Viewers, please leave your name and other details in the same so that we can send you the participation certificate. And please follow us for the next few sessions that we'll be having. We keep on putting up things on Facebook, and we are coming up with the career prospects in commerce very soon. Stay safe and happy saving.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.